Something about that song, just from the minute we did it, it was like, it felt like a magical thing, a magical moment. Everyone I played it to, my mum and dad hated it.
Did they ever say why?
No, they didn't. I mean, they love it now because it's got them a house.
Apple Music Essentials, Sam Smith, music's most influential artists and the stories behind their songs.
We're talking to Sam Smith right now, and we're going through select essentials from a brilliant playlist on Apple Music. 2 albums with a third one coming. This is getting deeper and deeper by the moment. And I'd love to talk to you about some of the ones that really stand out for you and for your fans. And I guess the obvious place to start is a song that sort of changed your life, which is actually belongs to someone else but sits on your essentials, but you're such an essential feature on it, which is LATCH, which I mean has traveled and become such an anthem in so many different formats and different ways, and it means a lot to people. What does it mean to you now in 2020 years after it came out?
It means more to me now than it meant to me then. It's a weird record, actually. It's a very strange thing. I remember not liking it at first because I didn't listen to dance music, so I didn't know what the hell it was. I didn't even know who Disclosure were, really, until I just listened to musical theatre. But I was working in a bar when we made this record, so whenever I hear it, I remember doing a shift in the bar. It came out on the charts. You were playing it on Radio 1, and I'm pulling pints, and my best friend's running into the bar with balloons because it was going up and up in the charts. And I'm having to work a shift while listening to LATCH.
When did you quit your job?
I quit my job 5-6 weeks after Bestival. We performed it at Bestival for the first time. Well, it happened. I couldn't afford to just quit, so I had to slowly. It was when I got my record deal, basically.
Wow!
Like you can quit.
When you were recording that vocal, because it's such a great example of your range at the very beginning of your career, as far as most people are concerned. I mean, it's a blessing that you're able to show what you can do in a song like that. But at the time when you were recording, you said you weren't necessarily convinced by it. But what was it like being asked to kind of hit those notes and make that commitment so early on in a space you weren't comfortable in?
We all wrote the song together, and that melody was just. It's weird when you're in a room writing, your voice is so warmed up into that melody that you're there. So the recording of it wasn't a problem. It was more the singing it after, when you go and sing it in front of people and you're like, Jesus Christ, this song is insanely high.
Do you have one performance that springs to mind during that promo, that tour around that song as you were leading up to release, in the Lonely Hour, because it became very big, Disclosure became very big, and so therefore you're singing in front of increasingly large audiences. Were there memories from that time that really stick out?
Oh my God, EJ, I can't explain how many memories. We were playing these tiny clubs. We played Plan B in Brixton, which was an amazing night. All these just all over the UK, like Nottingham. My sister was at uni in Nottingham. We played this tiny little club there. It was so exciting at that time.
I want to talk about Stay With Me with you because it was such a swerve from what people knew you as with Disclosure as a first impression. But for you, it was obviously the first step proper, a chance for people to really see what you wanted to be at that moment in your life. What are your memories of making that song?
I'd been writing so much. Quit my job. I was living in this awful little flat in Oval. I got burgled like 3 times. It was a nightmare. And we wrote this song, and it was a weird moment. We wrote the song, me, Tourist, and Jimmy, and we did. I would thought it felt quite boring, and then I was like, in the chorus, we need to just layer loads of vocals. So I was running around the studio just layering vocals. And that the sound in the chorus is all my voice.
When you can't afford a chorus, that's how it's done.
Yeah, exactly. When I listen back, I just burst into tears in the corner of the studio by myself because I was just like, this is mad. Something about that song, just from the minute we did it, it was like, it felt like a magical thing, a magical moment. Everyone I played it to, my mum and dad hated it.
Did they ever say why?
No, they didn't. I mean, they love it now because it's got them a house. But yeah, if I listen, that's why I don't listen to their advice now when I play the music.
An essential breakout moment for you, I think, was Dancing with a Stranger. You and NORNANI made, the chemistry is so in full evidence there. And also it came out at a perfect time when I felt like you were breaking free and the song reflected that. Yeah,
I think this was the song that Promises made me feel released, and then Dance with a Stranger was like, right, I'm here now and I can just feel free. I remember sitting here with you. Yeah. I'd just come back from New Zealand. Yeah. Had a sty.
You did have a sty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
But I love that song. It's a really beautiful song. And doing it with her was a joy because she's incredible.
Why? What was your experience of recording with NORNANI?
She was just so willing to do it, and it was this serendipitous moment where we wrote the song, and then she was coming in the studio that day to have a meeting with someone in the studio, and I was just like, babe, do you like this? Do you want to jump on it? And she did.
Straight away, done.
Done. Yeah, in one day.
The theme of the song is a different take on something you've covered before, which is the idea of wanting to find solace and comfort in the arms of someone who isn't you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go find someone, at least for a short period of time, that makes me forget about you. Why do you think you keep sort of finding new ways to tell this story?
Because there's new ways of feeling it. You know, the ways that I felt on my first record, I'd never been in a relationship. My first record was about a straight man I fell in love with who was married, and we weren't together. So it was completely unrequited. Then during the second album, I got into a relationship, my first one, and then that's what Dancing Stranger was about.
The Thrill of It All is the name of your second album proper. And, you know, we've spoken in the past about the challenges you faced trying to follow up the success of In the Lonely Hour. Too Good at Goodbyes was a great step forward. What is that song to you, and sort of what headspace were you in when you started to write it in relation to the previous album?
I think The Thrill of It All as an album actually was probably part and part with In the Lonely Hour. I think it's all part of the same experience. The Thrill of It All was a reaction to fame. And Too Good at Goodbyes for me is that it has got that. It's like part two of it wasn't unrequited. It was more like I'm cold. Like I'm cold from everything that's happened. I'm cold from my life, and I'm good at this. Like I almost wanted heartbreak because I was more comfortable being heartbroken than I was being happy.
I think there are times when artists, when they're not feeling themselves entirely, go into a sort of almost an autopilot state.
Oh, completely. It's safe. I felt safe. The album was safe, but I'm not ashamed of that, because at a moment of such unsafety in my life, all I wanted to feel was safe. So that's honest to me. It's, you know, pushing myself during that second album would have been probably detrimental to my health because I wasn't in the right space.
It ended up, I think, toward the end of that tour being a little detrimental to your health. And I think you found yourself in a pretty bad space.
Yeah. For the first time, I mean, I've always been sad, but for the first time, I actually really had mental health issues, like panic attacks, anxiety, like depression. It really hit me hard. I think it was a PTSD probably from before. Again, with the relationship ending, it didn't help. But it was a tough time, really tough.
Coming off tour, you know, you don't have the adoration of thousands of people when you don't have even somebody next to you, right beside you, who can help you through that, right? I mean, that's the definition of lonely.
Yeah, oh, completely. The adrenaline high that you hit when you're on stage, when you come off, the silence in a changing room is really, really tough. It's taking me 6-7 years to actually work out what I need to make that okay. I'm nervous about the next tour too, but I think the energy will be different on the next tour. So
you just need to walk into a rave.
Yeah, instead of the last tour I came up on a chair crying. Do you know what I mean? Which was great, but it's heavy every night. It's heavy.
Where were you when you got the phone call and you were asked to work on the Bond theme?
We got asked to pitch. It wasn't like you're the one. It was like, as we all know, because Radiohead released their version very kindly. Yeah. We got asked to pitch. I think a few people did. We all pitched, and we won.
Did you?
Which was amazing.
Did you and Jimmy, when you sat down to write it together, what was the mood in the room at the beginning? Because that's like a whole different brief, and you're given carte blanche to be as dramatic and big as you can possibly be.
Do you know what? It did come really easy. We read the script and we got in the room and we just went for it. We actually didn't organize a time to do it. I think we were vocaling a cover for something or other in RAC in London, and then we were like, should we just give it a go now? And we just went in the other room and just gave it a go, and it came. And I love that song, but it was a tough time, that song.
Why?
Because I mean, the Oscar performance was a nightmare because I got given the wrong pack, so I couldn't hear myself. I messed up my speech at the Oscars. Obviously the Radiohead drama wasn't great. Like it was just the whole song felt like wrapped in this.
You're out of your comfort zone.
It was like doomy news.
Here's your Oscar for one of the worst periods of your life.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was weird.
You know, a few songs that I don't know if you still sort of how you feel about them. I mean, La La La. Are we gonna play that? Or are we just gonna swerve that?
No, play it.
I'm gonna play it.
Oh my God. What do you think of La La La, Zane?
What do I think of La La La? Shows a lot of promise.
Oh gosh.
Lay Me Down. You know, I want to play the version of Lay Me Down that had John Legend on it. I want to know what it's like for you when you have a song that exists in its entirety, in its original form, that's loved by so many, and then you open it up for other people to contribute, and how that feels. I mean, John Legend's an amazing human being. No one's denying that. But, you know, how that experience is when it already exists.
He blessed that song. My version with him, for me, is my favorite version of that song. However, I actually don't know if we ever captured a version of that song correctly on recording. It's this weird song that exists so beautifully live. And every time there's moments I do it live and it's like, boom, that's it. Capturing it, recording it, we tried 5-6 times, different versions. And we couldn't capture it. I don't know why.
So how did you settle on one you were happy to let go of?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't. I've got to admit, maybe I'm the worst artist for saying this, but I find it really, really hard to finish records because I feel like I write these records and I love them so much, and I just find the mixing stuff really difficult. Like I get bored.
Distribution is not your forte.
Yeah, it's just like listen to it again and again and again, and you lose track of what's going on, and then it's hard. I'm a singer. Yeah. At the end of the day, and that's how I write. I sing and I sing words. I'm not a producer.
You know, you've worked with some fantastic people. You worked with Calvin Harris on a song that, you know, we've talked about already in Essentials, the feeling of promises and how it kind of set you free. And I wonder what it's like going in and working with other people without the pressure of it being on your back and actually being able to go in and contribute to somebody else's vision as well as your own.
I love collaborating. I love walking into a room and singing whatever and trying to sound like that or trying to sound like that.
So what's it like collaborating with Calvin?
Oh, he's incredible. He did everything himself, which I was, you know this, like a lot of people don't do things.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't do anything sometimes. And Calvin did everything by himself, and it was me, him and Jesse Reyes, and it was just a beautiful day. Really beautiful day. And I was at this weird place where I was nearly single. And we just had a shot of whiskey and like had fun. It was great.
Yeah.
Great.
When you perform that song live as well, I feel like it's opened the door for you to, everything feels different after Promises.
Yeah, it's weird. We started performing it live, and the first few times I was moving, and then by the end of the tour, I was catwalking up and down the stage, voguing, like I was going mental. It just released me. Because it's light. It's just... There's a way of being serious and there's a way of being sad without and being able to dance at the same time.
Exactly. You know, you can have emotion on the dance floor. That's the best kind.
Yeah.
And no one, you know, like it gets to the point where even the fans, I think, start to say, like, we don't want another really sad, somber Sam moment for your benefit.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes vicarious to the point of like, this is not healthy
for me. Yeah, because you're right. It's exhausting actually to do it, and I've got my whole life to do that when I'm older and can't actually move. Do you know what I mean?
Make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly. Dance while you can.